Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Lando from The Snap, coming at you with the top 12 defense rankings for Week 14, the final week of the fantasy football regular season. We got to get ready for the fantasy playoffs. So I'm here to give you the top 12 defense rankings for this week. If you need one of these defenses to win your week, I'm going to rank them for you, and I'll give you some context to why I have them ranked. So make sure to like this video and comment down below. I respond to every single comment. So if you just need someone to bounce some ideas off of, maybe some start-sit questions that has nothing to do with defense, get me in the comments. I'll get back to you, try to give you the best advice I can to help you make the playoffs and win that matchup and hopefully a fantasy title. So I'll start at number 12. That is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they have a tough matchup against Philadelphia. We know that, but I do think their defense is good enough. They take enough risks involved, especially Bland, to intercept and pick six. And, you know, if it's going to be a shootout, if there's going to be lots of passing, there's more opportunities for that. More sacks, more fumbles, all that. You don't want to have a matchup that's just pure running and there's no opportunities for sacks and interceptions. So I don't love it, but if you have the Cowboys defense, I would still play them. I wouldn't be dropping them and adding another defense. My number 11 pick is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Cleveland Browns. They're at the Browns. A little bit of a tougher matchup, but I do love this scenario. We're not sure who is at quarterback for the Browns at this point. It could be Flacco. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I love this matchup. The Jags, you know, they didn't look great against Browning last on Monday night, but I do think that there's lots of opportunities to get some turnovers, interceptions, maybe defensive touchdowns. So I do like the Jags. If they're available on waivers, I wouldn't mind picking them up if you don't have another defense on this list. My number 10 defense is going to be the Patriots at Pittsburgh. So it's probably Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, and I do love when Bill Belichick has an opportunity to go after a backup quarterback. And we know Trubisky in his ups and downs and everything in between. So I think the Patriots are going to be ready. The problem is that it's hard for them to sustain drives, so their defense is on the field a ton. So I would say this is more of a high-risk, high-reward play, but I do think the Patriots are a decent streaming defense and probably available on your waivers again. At number 9, I have the Packers at New York Giants. I think the Packers have looked great, and they've played some significantly real offenses. They've been on a bit of a heater, so the Giants are going to be a walk in the park. Now, the only issue with this matchup is that the Giants are going to run the ball a lot, which doesn't translate into fantasy points. So if you're just trying to get the least amount of points possible in a matchup, this might be the one. I don't know if there's going to be a ton of turnovers. Danny DeVito looked okay a couple of weeks ago, but I think the Packers are going to be good, and hopefully they get up early and force DeVito to throw the football. That's going to be the best for fantasy points. My number 8 defense is going to be the Houston Texans at the New York Jets. Another one of those matchups where you're going against a bad quarterback. I'm not sure at this point who's at quarterback, if it's Zach Wilson or whomever they picked up off waivers, but I do think the Texans are going to be good enough to get at the quarterback, and we love Zach Wilson and the opportunities for turnovers in this matchup. So I think the Texans, again, most of these defenses are available off the waiver wire, so you can add them and play them right now. It's always tough to roster two defenses. So if you have a solid one you've been running week in and week out, like the Chiefs, I'd probably just hang on to the Chiefs. But if you have roster space, add one of these guys. Add one of these teams. I mean, number 7, I've got the Lions versus Chicago. Chicago will put up points. I think it's going to be a really good game. But we like Justin Fields to take sacks. He hangs on the ball a little bit too long, and that turns into fantasy points. So I do like the Lions and their pass rush, and I think that they are going to get after Justin Fields here. The Saints come in at number 6. We have them against the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are not going to be scoring a ton, and the Saints early on, their defense looked phenomenal. They haven't been so good lately, so I think this might be a little bit too high for the Saints where I have them ranked, but it's going against that offense. The Carolina offense just isn't good. Chuba Hubbard right now is their star of their team. So that's the only issue again, is they run the football a ton, but that doesn't translate into fantasy points. But I do think that the Saints are a solid pick. I've got them at number 6. My number 5, now we're getting into some of the stud defenses that aren't available on waivers, that you have them and you're going to start them no matter what. Ravens versus the Rams. If you have the Ravens and you're concerned about the matchup against the Rams, I would not be concerned. They're coming off of bye. I think it's a good matchup. Well, it's good enough. You're not going to sit or drop the Ravens defense. Matt Stafford looks really good, but, you have to start your stud defense and hope they show up. They're going to have a hard time moving the ball against the Ravens. Next, we have the 49ers. The 49ers versus Seattle. Seattle, made the Cowboys look pretty bad last week, especially with DK Metcalf getting behind that corner, that bland corner that's been phenomenal. But the Niners, and we've seen Geno Smith make bad decisions under pressure, and I think that this could happen again. The Niners have one of the best defenses in the league. I think they're a great start, even against a very good offense in Seattle. Next, at number 3, we have the Dolphins versus Tennessee. Dolphins have been one of the best defenses lately. They really showed up and showed out, and although Tennessee runs the football a ton, Will Levis is going to make mistakes, and I think that the Dolphins are the real deal, and I think their defense is really, really good. Number 2, I've got the Browns versus Jacksonville. There's likely a backup quarterback in Jacksonville. The Browns have given up big plays, and they've really hurt you. They hurt you last week, putting up negative points last week, but I am going to stay strong with the Browns. Keep playing them. If you've been rostering them for a playoff run, and maybe you just need this win and you're sick and tired of them, I'd be waiting and holding and playing them against Jacksonville. I probably would have dropped them if Trevor Lawrence was back at quarterback, but since there is a backup playing, I think there's lots of opportunities for sacks, interceptions, and mistakes. So I really like the Browns. And this might be a shock to some of you if you're waiting for this defense and you have waited this long, and I haven't talked about the Steelers. They are my number 1 defense, a great pass rush. It's in Pittsburgh, which is great for the Steelers and New England and whomever is at quarterback. It doesn't matter. I love the Steelers this week at New England. Last week they got shut out with the Chargers defense, and the Chargers have a terrible defense. Now they have to play a better one, and I think the Steelers are a great option this week. All right, guys, let me know what you're doing. Let me know who I missed and what my rankings were. I got them right or wrong. Get me in the comments. Just a reminder, every single comment gets answered. Let me know what you're doing. Good luck this week. Hopefully you're in the playoffs. If you need these players to make it in the playoffs, good luck as well. We will see you next time.